What's up, y'all? Listen, I feel like I've been here 20 times, but we are back again. Happy Friday afternoon, evening, eve, whatever it is. Hey, you guys, welcome. For those of you that are coming back, y'all know YouTube gets funny with the notifications when you keep going live, but I thank you that for those who got their notifications or for those who just remembered to come back. But yes, we are back. And so thank you, Katrina. And I gotta reach out to my girl Tabitha. I have not talked to her in a while, but I'm so glad that Tabitha sent people over here. I love Tabitha. That's my girl right there. So I'm gonna say hi to the people, and then we're gonna go through this information, and then I'm gonna drop the link, and I'm gonna let y'all tell me what y'all think, right? So let me say hi to the people. What's up, Nikki? Hey, CBBJ, Lemon Kush, Malicia. Okay, at work, waiting. Okay, hey, Mighty Ma. What's up, Teacher? Been a minute. Hope all is well. Happy holidays. Well, happy holidays to you too. Hey, Kenya, Maryland, Miami, Cool Gamer. I said, y'all know I keep calling her Miami. Mia, Cool Gamer, Marnie. All my members that are lit up in green. What's up, Cookie? Hey, Charlie. Hey, Corey. Sierra, Charles. Give me shelter. What's up, my love? China White. What's up? Just Patches. Hey, boo. Hey. You just finished my last video. Hey, Powerful. What's up, Mama Mina? So let's get into the things of the things. What's up? Don't trip. The aunties are owed an apology. What aunties? Who I owe an apology to? I'll apologize. Who I need to apologize to? So, uh-oh. Oh, okay, sorry. So I had stumbled across this article as I was doing other things, and then it's funny because y'all know how my girl Tracy do. I had stumbled across this article, and then Tracy sent me pretty much the exact same article. And it's funny because I was going to already talk about this, but then Tracy sent it out, and it was just hilarious to me. I was like, "Oh, here we go." So the article excuse me, not entitled. The article is titled. Hold on. A brief look at Diddy's history of controversies and allegations. And then I had found another article that listed his violent episodes. So we're going to go through both articles. A lot of information overlaps, but I just want to make sure that we cover everything. All right. So we're going to start with the article that highlights the history of controversies and allegations, and then we're going to go to the one dealing with violence because I think most of the things overlap. But again, I just want to make sure we get through everything, and then I'm going to drop the link. So I'm going to read it off my phone, so I can see the chat as I'm reading, because if I'm reading off the computer, sometimes I have to toggle back and forth. So I'm going to read it off my phone. So this first article, it's coming from Rolling Stone, and this article was actually written today. So this is a very fresh article. And I'm starting, and that's another reason why I'm starting with Rolling Stone, because I think, oh, damn it. Hold on, maybe I'm not. Damn it. Damn you, Rolling Stone. Hold on. I might have to read it from my computer. Hold on. Let me see. You know, they be trying to make you get a subscription. They only let you to open the article but so many times before they try to make you buy a subscription. So let me see if I can email it to myself and just read it off my email. If not, we might just have to go through the other article that I can get into, because I already have a subscription to that place. I'm not going to buy a subscription to Rolling Stone. I'm not doing that. Okay. Let me see if I can get to this article. I didn't realize Rolling Stone did that, because I've read a million articles off of Rolling Stone, but I guess I only opened it one time. All right, let me see if it'll let me open it up, y'all. see. Okay, cool. I can get into it. All right. So this article is coming from Rolling Stone magazine. I'm going to skip through it because it goes through this whole thing. The first part of the article talks about how Diddy has tried to rebrand himself over the last couple of years as Brother Love, and then just shortening it to Love. And then it talks about the cases that have been up. Damn it. Nope. It only let me open it up for a few minutes. It didn't even let me. Dang, Rolling Stone. I wouldn't have even been able to read it. Damn it. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. It's more than one way to skin this cat. Give me 1 second. It didn't give me any problems earlier. All right. We might just have to go to the other article. Rolling Stone, you might just be playing too much because it's really not letting me get into Rolling Stone. All right. Well, I'll just have to go to the other article then. Oh, well, Rolling Stone. We're going to look at both articles, but we're just going to have to look at the other article because the other article I can get into. All right. But they're the information pretty much overlaps, y'all. It's the same type of information. Let me get it pulled up. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So this article is coming from the New York Times, and this article is written. This article was written November the 17th. So for the most part, like I said, a lot of the information is going to overlap. So let's get into it. I'm going to have to read it from my computer, though, so I'm going to be toggling back and forth. Shit. They really playing games with me, y'all. Okay. Oh, Lord. We finally here. All right. Let's get into it. Let me hurry up before it kicks me out again. The music mogul who was accused of... Give me a quick second, y'all. Give me a quick second. Give me a quick second. I am so sorry, y'all. Oh, Lord. Did it log me in that time? All right. All right, it logged me in. It was trying to say it. So the second article, it was kicking me out, but I have an account for the New York Times. So I was like, wait a minute, I have an account for the New York Times now. Y'all playing games with me now. All right. Let's start from the beginning. So the article starts in 1991. So an ambitious intern's rocky ascent. Mr. Combs is a relatively unknown 22-year-old radio station intern, co-hosted a celebrity basketball game with a rapper, Heavy D. A stampede erupted among the jammed crowd inside the oversold City College of New York gymnasium, killing 9 people. A report commissioned by Mayor David Dinkins criticized Mr. Combs for allowing inexperienced underlings to plan the event and for tricking ticket buyers about the event's charitable intentions. So not only are they saying that he was disingenuous with the tickets as a whole, he's saying that the money wasn't even going to charity like he said it was going to charity, okay? I lost the photos and the formatting is a little... Okay, thank you, Tracy. Thank you. All right, I'm going to look at that when we're done. Thank you, boo. What I tell you, boo? Boy, Christmas is coming, Tracy. Christmas is coming. Can I share my screen? Let me see. This is how we roll. I remember when it happened too, y'all. I remember when it happened too. Okay. Hold on. Come on in, you guys. Take a seat. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but sometimes things are what they are. Okay. All right. You guys can see it. I'm sharing the screen. You guys should be able to see it. Okay. And it keeps saying that I don't have access, but I do have an account, so I'm not sure why it keeps doing that. Okay. Okay. City college is something I deal with every day of my life, Mr. Combs said in 1998. But the things that I deal with can in no way measure up to the pain that the families dealt with. I just pray for the families and pray for the children who lost their lives every day. A year later, as an intern at Uptown Records, Mr. Combs' production on the remix of Jodeci's Come and Talk to Me helped the single sell 3 million copies. I'm going to jump over this, y'all, because it's just talking about what he did at Uptown Records and we don't care. That's a picture of the aftermath of the City College catastrophe. And again, we're sorry for the people. And I wonder if the families ever sued him for wrongful death or anything like that. I know he was blamed for it, as you know, he should have been. But I wonder, I don't remember, and I didn't look any of that up. All right. In 1994, he started Bad Boy Records, and of course, again, we know him with Biggie and all that. I'm not gonna read through all of the hits and all that stuff. We know all of that. We're here to talk about the other stuff. All right. So it talks about, okay, so then it says in 1997, all right? So in 1997, Mr. Combs charted some of the most notable accolades of his career before and after the death of Biggie, who was killed in a drive-by shooting in March, 6 months after the killing of his rival Tupac Shakur. Now, we've heard the rumors about the Biggie situation, that Biggie was going to leave Bad Boy and that him and Biggie were not in the best place when this happened. We also know allegedly that Puffy was warned, because remember, Biggie was killed at a party in LA, and because of that whole East Coast West Coast thing, allegedly Puffy was warned not to come, but he came anyway. And then of course we know about the situation with Tupac and Kef D, saying that Diddy was a part of setting up Tupac, right? We know all of those things that are out there. All right, so those are rumors and da 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 da. So let me scroll down. All right, so in 1999, after a dispute over the use of footage in a music video, the record producer Steve Stout claimed that Mr. Combs and his bodyguards beat him with a champagne bottle, a telephone, a chair, and their fists during an April incident. Mr. Combs faced up to 7 years in prison had he been convicted of felony assault. Instead, Mr. Stout asked the Manhattan District Attorney to drop the charges after Mr. Combs publicly apologized. Mr. Combs said that he was upset that Mr. Stout, an Interscope Records exec, used footage of him being crucified on a cross in a video for the rapper Nas, Hate Me Now. Puff soaked Interscope record offices with champagne bottles on Steve Stout, and Steve thought the drama is on me, Nas wrote in a 2002 song that immortalized the altercation. That December, an argument broke out at a Manhattan nightclub. Okay, so that happened in 1999. Later on that year, an argument broke out at a Manhattan nightclub where Mr. Combs was spending a night out with actress and singer Jennifer Lopez, his girlfriend at the time. At least 2 people were injured by gunfire. The details and timeline of that altercation remained muddled throughout a highly publicized trial. Famed attorney Johnny Cochran defended Mr. Combs, and multiple witnesses testified that the music executive had held a weapon. Y'all, you know, a pow pow. Mr. Combs was charged with possession of the pow pow and bribery, but was found not guilty. His one-time protege, rapper Shine, received a 10-year prison sentence for assault, gun possession, and reckless endangerment. And of course, we know that Shine just recently got out of jail, and he's actually performed with Diddy since being released from prison. Let me come back to the chat. Let me see what y'all are talking about. I remember the Steve Stout. Heavy D held Puff down with all his secrets. Right. And remember, allegedly, Heavy was writing a book when he passed away. Puff pow that girl in the face and let Sean take the blame. I didn't know this. I was a kid during that time. Puffy is a goon. I'm reading some of the comments. Combs settled a slew of lawsuits from family members of attendees who died at the gymnasium. Okay, finalizing the last suit in 2000, in the year 2000. Okay, thank you, Tracy. Father MC's baby mama died. Where? D. Oh, in the stampede. Oh no. Father MC's mother died? I mean, baby mother died? I didn't know that. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. Make a band by demand. Okay. In 2002, Mr. Combs took over MTV's, blah, blah, blah. They talking about making the band. Okay. Mr. Combs was portrayed as a demanding boss who famously made members walk from Manhattan to Brooklyn to secure him a cheesecake. In recent years, multiple band members have spoken out against what they described as mistreatment from Mr. Combs and bad contracts. The band ReallyBTV described Mr. Combs as the reason he hates life in an Instagram post last year. That summer, Mr. Combs terminated the label's joint venture with Arista, leaving the deal with full ownership of Bad Boy Records and its back catalog. Despite the label's run of R&B hits and attempts to find a rap act in the magnitude after Notorious B.I.G., Puffy remained its most reliable star, child. So then it starts talking about back at number one, talk about all the hits that he came out with after that, building empire beyond music, Sean John clothing brand, blah, blah, blah. Okay. In 2015, another arrest for assault charges. In 2015, Mr. Combs was arrested and charged with assault with a deadly weapon, making terroristic threats, and battery after an altercation with an UCLA football coach. In a news release, the university described the weapon as a kettlebell. Justin Combs, Mr. Combs' son, began playing football at the university in 2012. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office said that prosecutors decided against pursuing felony charges after the incident. So allegedly, he was upset at his son's playing time, and he went in there and he assaulted the coach. That is what is alleged, and the weapon that he allegedly used was a kettlebell. And then, of course, in 2023, we have the situation with him and Cassie. So that was the article in the New York Times. And let me go back to the Rolling Stone article, and let's see what was in the Rolling Stone article. And then I'm going to drop the link, and I'm going to let you guys open up. Hold on. Let me go back. Thank you, Tracy, again. Thank you, my love. All right. Can y'all hear me and everything? Hold on. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me look at the chat. Okay. Is it Sean the Prime Minister and believes now? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I believe everything about him for some reason. He's always been weird to me. Ooh. Tried to get the driver to claim the weapons. That man said no. Yeah, I mean, and remember Jennifer Lopez, they tried to rush her out, and it was a whole thing with that night at the club, okay? All right, so let me read you guys this article from Rolling Stone. Again, I'm going to skim through it. Because some of this stuff we've already talked about, and some of it they just pontificating, child. So like I said, it starts off talking about the case with Cassie. It talks about him trying to reinvent himself, rebrand himself over the last couple of years, calling himself Brother Love and blah 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 blah. He's never been convicted of a serious crime, but has repeatedly been accused of having violent encounters with everyone from his exes to executive Steve Stout to rappers like J. Cole and Drake. Combs' attorney, Ben Brathman told the New York Times that Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Miss Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Miss Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. And so we know that they settled. Okay. Now, of course, the article starts with the City College stampede. Once again, we already talked about that. In a 67-page report that was published after the incident, it was called A Failure of Responsibility. That was the name of the report. It cited Combs for hire, and I just told you guys that. Combs settled a slew of lawsuits from family members and attendees who died at the gymnasium, finalizing the last suit in 2000. Right. All right. And again, now it goes on to talk about the different music, Combs and Death Row Records. Okay. Combs and Death Row Records co-founder Marion Suge Knight were once friends. I never knew they were friends. But the animosity that fueled the violent rivalry between Death Row and Bad Boy started once Knight's friend and security guard Jake Robes was killed outside an Atlanta nightclub after an argument with the Bad Boy camp. The men were celebrating musician Jermaine Dupri's birthday at Platinum City Club. When, as then Fulton County Sheriff Department Deputy Chris Howard told police, an argument began between members of the Bad Boy and Death Row Records entourage. Howard said that he escorted Combs and his guests outside to leave the club and thought the coast was clear to allow Knight and his entourage to leave. But Howard told the Los Angeles Times that his partner was just about ready to get into the limo when all of a sudden Puffy's guys came from around the corner. One of them had a pow pow. Howard said he chased the man who handed the pow pow to another person who shot Robes 2 or 3 times. According to the Times, the person then jumped into a car carrying Combs' associates. Robes died weeks later at an Atlanta hospital. Combs has denied any involvement in the shooting, which Knight reportedly held him responsible for. So that is what sparked the whole East Coast, West Coast war, you guys, according to this article. Now, we do know also Tupac and Biggie fell out because when Tupac got shot, he thought Biggie set him up, which, of course, we know that's not what happened. That's not how Biggie didn't set him up. Okay. Then we have the attack on Steve Stout, which we just talked about. All right. In late December, Combs and his Bad Boy signee, Shine. We just read about that. This gives a little more detail, so let me read through that. Prosecutors allege that amid the fray, all 3 men drew guns and Shine shot 3 times into the crowded club. 3 people were shot. Combs, who was arrested with 2 9mm guns in his car, was charged with 4 weapons charges and for bribing his driver to claim that the guns were his own. A witness at the trial said she saw both Shine and Combs shoot their weapons, but Combs was acquitted on all charges, while Shine was found guilty of 5 of the 8 charges and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. So there was an eyewitness that said they saw Diddy with a pow pow, but he was acquitted. Let me come back to the chat. Hold on, let me come back to the chat. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, Haitian Jack set him up. Yeah, Haitian Jack set him up. Suge was on Interscope first. It says Puff stole his swag. Yeah, Sean took all of the heat. What's up, KK? Hey, Kim. Okay. All right, let me go back to the article, you guys. All right. In 2013, J. Cole. In 2013, Combs was allegedly involved altercation with J. Cole at the 2013 MTV VMAs after party. Multiple sources alleged to Complex that a visibly intoxicated Combs accosted Kendrick Lamar about his fiery verse on Big Sean's Control, where he bragged that he was the king of New York. Combs allegedly tried to pour a drink on Kendrick before Cole intervened, and they got into a fight. The New York Post, however, reported that the scuffle occurred after J. Cole was saying inappropriate things to Sean Combs and his girlfriend, Cassie. A witness told them that some pushing and shoving happened. No punches were thrown, but it was a visible disturbance. Both men immediately denied a fight took place, though Cole later rapped, "My last scrap was with Puff Daddy, who would have thought it." In 2021, let's let it go to my head. So I ain't know nothing about this. That was in 2013, child. I ain't know nothing about this. Now in 2014, in December of 2014, Combs allegedly punched Drake over the rights to the beat that became Drake's 0 to 100. The Miami New Times reported that the two got into an altercation outside of Live nightclub during DJ Khaled's event for Bastille Weekend. Words were allegedly exchanged and reportedly then blows, with Combs telling Drake, "You will not disrespect me." Combs has denied punching Drake, telling the radio show The Breakfast Club, "I didn't do nothing to Drake. Drake is my friend." But what Drake say? Oh, okay. In 2015, that is the incident at UCLA. And again, there's more details here, so let me read through this. Combs got into a scuffle with then UCLA assistant football coach Cy Alsey. Combs was present during a UCLA practice where Alsey chided his son, Justin Combs, telling him, "I don't care if your dad's here. This is UCLA. I'm going to treat you just like I treat everyone else." After practice, Combs and his son reportedly went into his office where an argument ensued and Combs grabbed him. According to one account, Combs was forcibly removed from the coach's office and then swung a kettlebell at an intern. A rep for Combs Enterprises noted the various accounts of the event and charges are being reported are wholly inaccurate. What we can say now is that any actions taken by Mr. Combs were solely defensive in nature to protect himself and his son. LA District Attorney decided not to file assault charges against Combs. Then we have the Gina abuse case. That's the one. In 2019, Combs' ex, Gina, I'm going to just say hi. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, told blogger Tasha K that Combs physically abused her throughout their 5-year relationship. She claims he once stomped her in the stomach, causing her to lose her breath, and also punched her in the back of the head. She also told Tasha K that he was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusing her. He will always compare me to Cassie and tell me that I'm the bad one, she's the good one. She also said that everyone in Combs' circle allowed the abuse to occur. And then, of course, we have the allegations that Cassie made against him, and then the allegations that came out today. So let me come back here. So that is just a timeline, you guys, of incidents. Some are well-known incidents, some maybe not so well-known. Like I said, I didn't know about the J. Cole thing. I don't think I knew about the Drake situation either, honestly. Kimura asked the celeb corner to reopen Kim's case, and he got replaced and drove off a cliff, texting about his dog allegedly. Well, I know the corner disappeared. That first corner that said that Kim, the first corner said that there was a toxin, allegedly. The first corner said that there was a toxin in Kim's system. That corner allegedly disappeared. And then the second corner was like, oh, she had pneumonia. This is alleged. This is alleged. So I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to let you guys come up. It's been a lot over the last couple of days, a lot of new information. And, you know, something I was talking to a friend of mine about today, either yesterday or today, child. The days are starting to blend together. It was either yesterday or today I had this conversation. But the one thing that I've said is a lot of this stuff has been hiding in plain sight. And what I mean by that, What I mean by hiding in plain sight, a lot of us saw these things and we knew about what these things were happening, but I guess we didn't look at it through the lens of the way we look at things today. For example, when I was looking at some of those clips today with Aaron Hall, I realized that Gloria, was it Valdez? I didn't realize she was 17 years old when she was pregnant by Aaron Hall. Aaron Hall was a grown ass man. And I'm just like, I mean, we talked about the Russell Simmons, Kimora Lee Simmons thing. And like I told y'all yesterday, Jay-Z has been rumored to have dealt with women before they were legal age, right? So, I mean, we don't even need to talk about R. Kelly, child. We know about R. Kelly. But it's like some of these things, when we look at these old interviews of Puffy, there was a TikTok. Let me see if I can find it. Y'all probably saw it. It was a TikTok that was going around that showed Diddy at the Met Gala, and Cassie leaned over to shake Andre Leon Talley's hand, and the video clip shows Diddy kind of give her a look and kind of like suck his teeth, and then he has his arm around her and he kind of pushes her to him like, the fuck you doing? And I'm like, oh, you mad about her talking to Andre Leon Talley? Andre Leon Talley? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Some of y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can find that TikTok real quick. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. I'm gonna send it to I'm gonna send it to myself so I can play it up there so y'all can see it. Wow. And the trolls in the manosphere and male identified women always ask why victims don't come forward. A coroner died mysterious after looking into a high profile death. Buffy's reach is long. Really Be That clip is on YouTube if you want to play it. Oh, it's on YouTube too? Okay, hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna play it off of TikTok. I know I won't get in trouble playing it off of TikTok. Hold on, let me see here. I just emailed it to myself, so I'm about to pull it up in a second. Can I just say it's giving drugs allegedly? I mean, it's giving something. I'm really realizing how weird and creepy Hollywood is. It's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of things. And the reality is, like I said, some of these things, I don't see things the way I used to see things either, and like I said, I'll use the R. Kelly thing as an example. When that tape came out, we knew then, and when I say we, I mean we as a society knew that the allegation was that the girl in that tape was underage. Yet everybody I know has seen that tape. It didn't stop him from doing it. I mean, it slowed him down for a minute, but that was before I Believe I Can Fly came out. I think. Maybe not. No, I think that was after I Believe I Can Fly. Was it after? It was around that time. I don't have a timeline in front of me. But certainly the Aaliyah stuff, everybody knew. Everybody knew about Aaliyah. Hey, Citizen Jane, I'm gonna bring you up in a second. Give me a second. I want to show this clip real quick, and then I'm gonna bring you up. I'm so disturbed by everyone watching that tape, child. I mean, I knew people who watched it. All right, y'all.
So much. I wanted to ask you, can't wait to see 3 a.m.
Yes.
The controversy.
Yeah.
How can we get a tape of this?
Oh, I'm going to send it to you. I will email it to you.
Email me the whole thing.
Yes,
I love
yes,
it. I love that you're constantly
Thank you.
crushing the glass ceiling or crushing the black ceiling.
Yes.
You're one of the first. One of the first.
You know, I'm blessed to be in this industry.
Yes, and you're
I
blessed.
just try to blend it with my artistry.
Yeah, and you create that. I'm thrilled. I want to see that like tomorrow, 8 p.m. Send it to me at 3 a.m. in the morning, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Hold on, let me play it again because I don't think y'all saw it from the beginning. Hold on, let me play it again. When you see her lean over and shake his hand, pay attention to the look on Diddy's face and watch his hand behind her back.
What a beautiful dress you look.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask you, can't wait to see 3 a.m.
Yes.
The controversy.
Yeah.
How can we get a tape of this?
Oh, I'm going to send it to you. I will email it to you.
Email me the whole thing.
Yes,
I love it. I love that you're constantly crushing the glass. Beautiful dress you look.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask you, can't wait to see 3 a.m.
Yes.
The controversy.
Yeah.
How can we get a tape of this?
Oh, I'm going to send it to you. I will email it to you.
Email me the whole thing.
Yes,
I love it. I love that you're constantly
All right, you guys.
crushing the glass ceiling or crushing the black ceiling.
Yes.
You're one of the first. One of the first.
You know, I'm blessed to be in this industry.
Yes, and you're
I
blessed.
just try to blend it with my artistry.
Yeah, and you create that. I'm thrilled. I want to see that like tomorrow, 8 p.m. Send it to me at 3 a.m. in the morning, okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, y'all can't see it. I'm sorry. Okay, y'all can't see it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was my internet or y'all. Okay, so it keeps freezing. All right, hold on, y'all. Tracy and Jane, hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Let me try to get this thing to play without it freezing.
Dress you look.
Thank you so much.
It keeps freezing. Okay, never mind.
Can't wait to see 3 a.m.
Yes.
The controversy.
Yeah.
How can we get a tape of this?
Oh, I'm going to send it to you. I will email it to you.
Email me the whole thing.
Yes,
I love it.
All right, never mind. Because it keeps freezing. It keeps freezing. This internet, child. Me and this internet. Ugh. All right. Hold on. Tracy, Jane, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Tracy, you there, boo?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Go ahead, Jane, and then Tracy.
What I was going to say, to quote Really B, I'm going to tell you what I know, not what I think. I was outside, and I used to go to New York frequently because it was really cheap. It was during the airfare wars of the 80s and 90s. So we were outside. We thought we were grown. And we sneak off to New York all the time. And the first thing you learn when you start going to quote unquote parties in New York was that, especially like after the club let out, you don't take no ride from nobody. You get your ass in a cab. And the reason wasn't so much because it wasn't just the celebrities. The celebrities were just the draw because they weren't really big then. But it was kind of known that their crew was wild. And they would use hanging out with other people as a way of getting close to women. You also have to remember that a lot of these girls were really young. Like if you look at the women who are in media, not just the music industry, but in media, they were giving out internships. You could get, if you were nice to these guys, you got jobs at restaurants where you could make you a cute little coin. They controlled so many things, and they literally went around to the colleges and the high schools and stuff like that. Oh yeah, they used to compete to see who had the baddest chicks in the neighborhood. First it was regular girls. Then they got stuck on light-skinned girls. Then in the 90s, they got introduced to models and what I call white girl drugs. The Molly, the cocaine, the MDMA, all of that stuff. And it was such a rapid progression that they literally went from, okay, don't go back in VIP, because if you go back in VIP, you got to be ready to party with the boys. And everybody knew what that meant. But they made it seem as if, oh no, there were a whole bunch of girls. They were like, oh no, we just want pretty women around. Oh no, you just here, you know, because we want some atmosphere for the party. Nah, those the freaks. Those are the weirdos. You don't have to worry about that. And certain girls who were willing to play along, they got favors, right? They got certain things, but they didn't really talk openly at first about what was expected of them. And I can believe a lot of these girls were surprised, because these guys were so off the chain, and you kind of understood when when you went out, that you had to watch your back, you had to have your girls back, and you had to have your neck on a swivel, because things just happened and nothing was going to happen to the guys. Like nothing was going to happen to them. The people keep wondering why they didn't go to the police. Who do you think was providing security for them in the early days?
What a beautiful dress.
Thank you so much.
They would get a lot. They would get off-duty officers to work the clubs. That's always been a big gig. And 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 you, I'm gonna say this nicely. A lot of those guys were popular for the first time in their lives. They didn't get women like that, a lot of them, just off of charisma. They got women off of association, off of being, dealing drugs, off of clout, as we would call it now. So they were young too, but there was a lot of, how can I put this? There was a lot of, no one knew what they were actually getting themselves into. We were all young. We didn't have social media. We didn't have cell phones. I mean, you didn't really even have a beeper unless you were really connected. So you got to understand that you were really out walking through the jungle by yourself, right? And so a lot of these girls, if you hear their stories, you'll hear they were a receptionist. They worked at this restaurant. They worked at this nightclub. And they were placed there because guys thought you were cute and they wanted to eventually bag you. And that was one of the reasons why body count became such a big thing and a big conversation, because they didn't want these girls to have the opportunity to go with somebody who had more status, or to leave them for somebody else. Like, one of the things that I observed was that, if you really trace the timeline, 93 was also the year that Tupac was on trial for, quote unquote, sodomizing that girl in a hotel room. That type of stuff wasn't uncommon. It was like the stories I heard kept getting wilder and freakier. It was almost like they were possessed by something. Like, they weren't just into normal sex. It just had to be more over the top. And yes, they did have camcorders. And yes, we were warned that there were hidden cameras in a lot of those places, especially the VIP rooms. And I do not know this for 100% fact, but I've heard it too many times to doubt it, that there's a whole network of them sharing dirty pictures and tapes that goes back for years. And there've even been comedians like Cat Williams and others who have made jokes about how grimy it gets when you go to some of those Hollywood parties. And New York back in the 90s was literally the wild, wild west. And part of that is because of the way New York is set up. Like those clubs are really small. And a lot of those buildings are old and they have all of these secret rooms in them and all of these, like little alcoves and little dip offs. So if you really don't know where you are or what you're doing, you could find yourself getting hemmed up. We went to an after show for Janet Jackson when she was touring with Control. This was in Chicago. And we went to the Park West and we weren't there 15 minutes before my friend started acting really weird. Somebody slipped something in her drink that fast. She had one drink and she wasn't out of our sight because I was there with her brother. She wasn't out of our sight for 15 minutes and she was flying. We had to take her home. I've seen it happen. It happened so fast, you won't even know it. So you got to understand three things. A lot of these girls were 15, 16, 17 years old when they started going out and hanging out. You might hear stories, they might have been a little older, but they've always had a thing. I'll say, to be polite, I'll say high school girls. All of them. I think I think a lot of these guys have unhealed trauma from when they were in high school, and they're still, you can see it even now. They're still running around like living out adolescent fantasies. It's wild.
Mm.
And if people really really start talking, this could get extremely messy. Cause
Right.
I've heard Diddy holds the naked pictures for a lot of people. A lot of people. Just think about all the celebrities and famous people you've seen at his white parties or on his boat parties. And there's probably a lot more stories that you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that, or
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hadn't heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Well,
deep.
50 Cent, and I know he's a troll, but the interview that 50 Cent did years ago has resurfaced again as a clip where he said that he had seen naked pictures of Cassie. That
Mhm.
somebody had sent him naked pictures of Cassie. So like these things were all out there on the internet. But when you know and you can put things in perspective, you're like, oh wait a minute, you got naked pictures of Cassie. After what you read in that, in that complaint. Tracy, go ahead and jump in. Thank you for your patience. What you got to say? And then I found the clip on YouTube, which hopefully it's a better, but y'all can see, you see the look he giving Cassie right there. And then I want y'all to see where he puts his arm around her, how he pulls her after she shakes this man's hand. But go ahead, Tracy. What you got, boo?
So I'll say this, that we always have to think of it in two parts. That the mindset of people today is not the mindset of people in the 90s or,
Right.
like early 2080s. It was a completely different thought process of things that were normal or things that just weren't um, as uncommon, or things that we look at today and we'll be like, oh, absolutely not. That wasn't a thing then, right? So so we do need to always think of it like, okay, well, why did no one say anything back? Because it was a different mindset of people back then. It was looked at different. Um, Realistically, women were like harassed in the workplace all the time, and that was just common workplace etiquette for women in the workforce to have to kind of deal with. Nowadays, No, absolutely not. You would file a lawsuit and just move on. But back then, it was more like in the 70s, 80s, women just had to tolerate it. It was literally you ignore the passes and move on. Like that's kind of how it was because there wasn't the same type of laws and protections for people back then as they are now. Um, as someone who was a lot of places that I wasn't supposed to be at a very young age, and it was like, how did you get there? Well, because you was cute and you just showed up, and that was pretty much all you needed, pretty much. So could you be 14, 15, 16 in the clubs? Absolutely. Drinking, absolutely. Easy. No problem.
Absolutely.
No problem. No problem. Partying with any and everybody. As
I can
long
bear
as you had
witness.
the look, no problems. As long as you had the look, no problems at all whatsoever. Um, and there was like fake ID, kind of, sort of, but not really, because that wasn't even really a huge requirement back then. Um, so it was definitely a very different thing. So when people are like, "Well, how did these things happen?" Because it was different. Like the mindset of people was different back then, but also at the same time, it was when you went somewhere and told a cop or a police or anyone else that like, hey, these things happened to you, you were not automatically believed at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't the norm. How now it's more of like me too, like okay, protect women. That wasn't the mindset back then. It was definitely more so of why were you there? What were you wearing? What did you have on? You were underage, you were drinking, you were this, you were that, and it was more so you were blamed for what happened than the other person was kind of, you know, held accountable for what they did. So it was a very different, well, in that aspect, not very much is different, but at least it's not as bad as it used to be in that avenue. So when people are like, why did people not say anything or how did these things happen? We also have to remember, even if we think about it now, like things that we see now and it's kind of normal and regular now wasn't normal and regular 5 years ago, wasn't, normal and regular 10 years ago. So when people are like, how did these things happen and no one see anything or say anything? If almost everybody at the time was all doing the same thing, it would be normal to you, and you wouldn't look at it as being as much of a problem as it truly was. Um, so just keep that in mind when people are like, well, why didn't people come forward or say anything or file police reports or how did these young people get here? And blase, blase, blah, because there's parts of that are, you know, a little sketchy there. But when it comes to this, I believe it. it is definitely believable. There's no parts of this where I'm like, you know what? I hear this and I am like, absolutely not. I don't see this. No, no. I'm more so on the side of it sounds pretty much on par, and yeah, sounds accurate to me. But maybe that I'm just a
Yeah.
skeptic in that aspect. Like,
Right.
One of the things I wanted to mention, do you guys remember Who Wants to Work for Diddy?
Yeah.
There was, there was a woman on there. I can't remember what role she had at the time, but her name was Capricorn. If you pay close attention, somebody's going to dig this up because I heard somebody talking about it already. She settled with Diddy too. Word around the curve is he whooped on her. You know, she was his fixer because they used to have girls take other girls to the clinic because there wasn't no plan B. So a chick would just show up at your house and be like, oh, we're coming to take you to Dr. So and so. And yeah, girl. And if she didn't want to, you had to explain to her what the consequences of not agreeing to go were. And there's a whole lot of stories like that around. They didn't try to hide it. They were kind of flagrant with it. You know, it was kind of like an open secret. It was just like the cost of doing business. They didn't care. And if you really pay attention, Diddy always has a lot of these guys. If you pay real close attention, a lot of these stories will track that they just all mirror each other, because that they were kings. That's how they saw themselves. And you have to also remember that this was during the time when people would be like, you really gonna take down a black man who just getting on, girl? Do you really want to be that chick? Do you really want to be the one when we're out here building and creating empires and doing this? They were really on some Caligula Roman Empire stuff. They were sitting around getting holiday, Scarface on the loop, doing massive amounts of drugs, and just wanting to have, like, I don't know, Playboy fantasies. They just, I mean, and some of it, I think they just did sometimes just to humiliate the girls or just to prove they could.
Right.
Just
Let me play this clip, you guys, so y'all see what I'm talking about. So, you can see what Diddy's face is frozen, like it looked like he giving her the side eye already. So let me I'm gonna play it from the beginning so y'all can see the whole interaction.
What a beautiful dress.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask you, can't wait to see 3 a.m.
Yes.
Did y'all catch that? I'm gonna play it one more time.
Controversy.
Yeah.
How come can't wait to see 3 a.m.
Yeah.
What a beautiful dress.
Thank you so much.
Did y'all see the way he looked when she went to shake that man's hand? Now watch what he does after he gives her that look. Watch what he does.
I wanted to ask you, can't wait to see 3 a.m.
See how he pulled her, he grabbed her and he pulled her in, and then she instinctively. Now I know that to the naked eye, it looks like, oh, they're just a couple in love, and he went and put his arm around her, and but now when you look at it again with a different eye, and maybe we're being overly critical, but I don't know. What do y'all think? What do you think, Tracy and Jane? Am I being overcritical, or was there a little something in that interaction?
Not at all. I know for a fact that he didn't want her around any producer, anybody who could have potentially have given her an opportunity. He didn't want her around anybody who was going to offer her a modeling gig, a television show. It was kind of like, if I want you to have ice cream, I'll buy you ice cream. That's the type of stuff he was on. He didn't want it. Part of the reason it was explained to me that these guys not only like sharing the pictures of their women, but it was also a way to kind of like keep them from ever, nobody else would touch you after that. That's why certain women like Beyonce and Rihanna are held in such high esteem, because they didn't really get touched or passed around, and they didn't really get the picture treatment and stuff like that. You know, they've been protected. But there are a lot of girls, if you notice, they never get married, and they always have trouble with relationships because they're considered an industry girl or a pass around, even if it's not true, even if they didn't sign up for that just became their reputation. So yeah, I believe your eyes are not deceiving you. You seeing what you seeing, because Leon Talley is a gay man. What would Diddy be stressing about? Yeah, you saw what you saw. You're not crazy.
I mean, so let me say this, and I know what I'm getting ready to say. Ooh, I dropped the link. I dropped the link. That's the last time I'm gonna drop the link. So if you want to come up, last call for alcohol. Let me say this, and I know them the people, the beehive is about to be buzzing. But let me say this to y'all. We since we calling a thing, and we putting everything out there that we putting out there, what we can't do is overlook the fact that Jay-Z also has rumors and reputations.
No, I wouldn't. I love
No, no, no,
Beyonce.
no. I'm not talking about you. I'm just I'm having a general conversation
Oh yeah,
that
great.
we can't overlook that these same rumors about we have Jay-Z with the rumor about Jay-Z and Foxy Brown, the rumor about Jay-Z with a couple of his other artists who were underage. We know Jay-Z was messed with Aaliyah at one point in time. We know that Jay-Z started, I'm gonna just say, dating Beyonce when she was under 21. We know that there's a huge age gap between them. And I'm not saying, listen, let's be clear. I'm not saying that Jay-Z is abusing her. That is not what I'm saying, y'all. So please don't nobody take what I'm saying there. I am not saying that he is abusing her. What I'm saying is if we are going to look at the full scope, if we're not going to give Russell Simmons a pass, Diddy a pass, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he's physically abusing Beyonce. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is we have another industry mogul who has these reputations. Isn't that what we're talking about? The fact that all of these things were floating on the internet about all of these people before they actually stumbled and came tumbling down. I know that 18 is legal, but he was listen. Again, if we're gonna call a thing, we're gonna call a thing. 18 is legal, but Beyonce and Jay-Z knew each other before she was 18. Now I ain't saying they was dating, and I'm not saying they was sleeping together. I'm gonna say they knew each other. It's the same thing. If we're gonna say the same thing about Marcus Houston, who knew his wife before she was 18, and all of a sudden, the minute she turned 18, now they're dating. Nah, it don't work like that. And
Well,
again, I'm not saying that Jay-Z is doing anything to Beyonce. I'm saying if we're going to talk about the people in the industry, we're going to talk about all of these men who were predatory to these women. We're not going to overlook just because we love Beyonce and just because they've made this thing work. I'm not saying that he's abusive. I'm saying, can we look at the rumors and can we say, hey, there might be some predatory behavior on all of these men if we're going to talk about these things. That's all I'm saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing, don't sting me with the bee. Okay?
if you name any,
Child.
if you name any famous man and the women that he's dated or been married to or involved with, girl, all of them started scouting women. You were fair game by the time you reach high school. I don't care if you were 14, 15 years old. If you look good, somebody was looking at you. If you were in the right circles, especially anything involving media, entertainment, journalism, any of that, they scandal after scandal, this was very commonplace. It was considered their right to have access to beautiful women. They wanted them around them at all times. People used to talk about going into the offices and how nice all the women looked, and I want to be a part of this. That's how they attracted artists. That's how they attracted everybody. That's why I was in there. You can go down from Pebbles and everybody else. All of those girls were really young when they first were quote unquote introduced to their partners.
All
Peep
right.
game.
Janetta, thank you, my love. What you got to say, babe?
I was listening to sis and Jane. I wanted to hear more about Pebbles. I guess we could get back to that. But first of all, what I really wanted to say is, really be you're beautiful. Don't pay that fool Bishop whatever his name is,
Oh,
any
child.
attention. He
Thank
is
you.
a whole fool. But I agree with you on the Jay-Z situation. I remember I was in college because Beyonce and I are the same age. And I remember the rumors were floating that her and Jay-Z were dating. I just didn't believe it. I was like the age difference. And so when it actually came out, it was kind of shocking. But she would have been, when they announced it, she would have been, because I was in college. So she would have been like 20, well, maybe like 19 or 20. So, because we're the exact same age. So, but I just remember the age difference. But I do remember reading that, because Destiny's Child came out when she was like 15. They interacted then, and he has made a statement she was going to be his wife with her. So he had eyes for her when she was underage. So that is a problem. And then it's the same similar situation with Russell. Simmons and Kimora, she was 17. So it just seemed like it wasn't a big deal back then. And
She was younger than 17. Kimora was a sophomore in high school.
yeah, oh yeah, she was. And then there was also Aaron Hall's baby mama was
She was
16 when they started
17.
dating. She said she was 16 when they started
60,
dating,
right,
and
60 when they
seven,
started dating. Right.
yes, 17 when she got pregnant. So all of it is so disturbing and so sickening. You wonder what can they see in someone that's so young. I don't get it. It's just really weird. But can you elaborate more on the Pebble situation? Was she talking about L.A. Reid's wife, ex-wife?
Yes, remember she had a music career before um I can't remember the exact timeline now, but she had a music career, I believe, before she married him. And then she married him and she took over artist development. But she had been trying to pop. Do you guys remember the song Mercedes Boy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she had been trying to pop before then. Like a lot of these artists, you may not have known it back then, but they used to do like these showcases where they would just put a bunch of people up and then they would have them perform at the club and see who the audience responded to kind of build a buzz that way. So, I mean, there's a bunch of Rosario Dawson. Now, if you really want to get Beyonce's husband in trouble, let Rosario Dawson start talking. Because there's a lot of people who were around at that time. Remember, they went after models. So remember, you may have heard like Tyra and stuff say that she don't drink, she don't do drugs, she don't do none of that because a lot of girls didn't make it out the other side. They just didn't. I mean, there's a lot of girls who ended up just messed up on drugs, doing adult movies, um, just outright, prostituting themselves, just and eventually unaliving themselves. It was really it, 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 a lot of these girls are just the survivors, and we don't even know honestly if all of those girls did it by their own hand because there were rumors that they'll hotshot you. You start talking, they'll hotshot you. You go to the police, you might come up missing. Think about how frequently it's only been recently that Black women even being missing or assaulted gets taken seriously. We've got a whole series of dark skinned models who have been murdered in LA. Ain't nobody talking about that. That type of stuff used to happen all the time. You just had to really, really be in the know. And they would just tell you, oh man, she was on that stuff. Wouldn't tell you what the stuff was. She was on that stuff. And she got mixed up with the wrong people. You heard a lot of stories. Oh no, that'll never happen to you. She was dumb. She didn't know how to play her position. She got out here and started moving funny. And you'll be like, oh, okay. She went back home, right? All types of people that just came up missing. These are just the people we know about. I want y'all to think about that. These are just the girls who had enough visibility to actually say something. There are a bunch of girls who are just anonymous victims.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really terrible.
Yeah.
Really, I have a question for
Tracy,
you.
what's up?
Um, so do you think Diddy will settle any of these? Do you think he'll settle any of these cases, or you think he's
I
going to try and?
think
Oh,
so. I think that so the one with Aaron Hall, I let me say this. I think it's going to depend on what the evidence is that these people come up with and who's going to speak. Because in both of these cases that just came up, there can be some very cut and dry evidence. So, for example, the one where allegedly there's a videotape that he was passing around, where she specifically names Devontae Swing from Jodeci, right?
mhm.
Depose him. And if he says no, I mean, Diddy might get to him and cut him a check. I don't know. But that's the only person she specifically named. Depose him. Do I think either any of these cases make it to a courtroom? No, I don't think so. Especially coming up off of the Cassie. I don't know if he can afford to let these things linger.
I
I
would
don't
like to
know. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if he can, on one hand, it's like at some point you have to take a stand so people don't make it a money grab. But on the flip side, I don't know if he can afford to let it linger.
he definitely can't afford to let it linger because he's in this some kind of lawsuit dispute with this alcohol company. Is it Deleon or
Right. Right.
they're using the Cassie lawsuit against him to get him out of the company. So he definitely can't afford to let it linger. I will chime in on what I think about the lawsuits. I think that that second one, there was a police report that was filed, and the police didn't take her case seriously or they didn't pursue it. So she has medical documentation because she has PTSD. I too have PTSD, and so they could go on. If I was to make an accusation or whatever, it would be in my medical record. So it's not gonna, especially if you've been doing therapy for 10, however many years, they can go and pull those records, have a doctor testify, or they can admit medical records. And to me, the complaints a lot of times will have maybe just general things because you have to have enough. It's a law. I went to law school. I'm a lawyer. I can't remember the name of the case, but there's a case that said you had to state a claim upon which relief could be granted. Um, Basically, you have to state enough. You don't have to state everything that you have in the complaint. So just because she can state certain things, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have more. So, and then with the third one with Aaron Hall, I mean, that Vlad interview was pretty damaging. So they can pull that in there with that third one. If he's smart, well, he may just want to go ahead and sell. I mean, to me, the damage has been done. He may want to just kind of fight it a little bit. So, as you said, really be it won't be a money grab. People won't just pop up out of the blue and just say, "I'm going to sue him. It'll be easy because he's going to settle with me." But the damage has been done at this point. I mean, it's pretty. And then social media is doing this investigation, and because I didn't even know about the Vlad interview, but it was horrible. And Aaron
It
Hall
was
pretty much
terrible.
confirmed it was awful. He pretty much confirmed that Diddy and Jodeci and he mentioned Denzel Washington. So I hope that he's not involved in this mess. But he said that they watched him F women. So Aaron Hall, that was a disgusting interview, and he was just bragging. He's 60 years old today, and I think the interview was from 2014. So he would have been in his 50s, way too old for that foolishness. And he's talking about how they watched him. And if you go back to Cassie lawsuit, I believe that It was Mims made that connection. I was like, wow. He's basically said that Aaron Hall is a dark skinned man that's bragged about his size, and he did so in that Vlad interview. And Cassie mentioned in her lawsuit that he was looking for her to be with those type of men that he wanted to watch. So it's pretty bad.
I'm wondering how much money, how liquid is he? Because we don't know how
Mm.
he settled for Cassie with. I know that he put his house up for sale, I believe the LA house, for 14.5 million. My guess, a move like that means that he has a billion in assets. But how much liquid does he have? Because all his revenue streams are drying up. He lost his deal with Macy's, and Sean John isn't just the clothing, right? Because he had fragrances too, and
Yeah.
Macy's is a big distributor for him. He was one of their like private label brands, and so my thought is, I don't know how much money he got left.
Well, we learned from Kanye's situation, he was a billionaire, but then when he lost that Adidas contract. So when they get these $1 billion, when they're saying they're worth that much, that means they can have $1 billion contract, but they don't have the liquid cash, like the contracts, their
Mm-hmm.
property, just everything that they have is worth $1 billion. That don't mean they actually have that in cash. So I doubt he has $1 billion in
Yeah,
cash.
yeah.
And
What your
yeah,
net worth and what you have liquid are two different things. Yeah, right.
exactly.
Because
So that's probably why he had to sell one of those houses.
they said he was scrambling. He's been scrambling for months. We're around the campfire. Is he been scrambling for months trying to raise capital? And he made it sound like the capital he was trying to raise was to make a move on Deleon. I think it was for these lawsuits. I think, look, Diddy has had a demon's resume since the 80s. Diddy started out as a do boy. Diddy used to procure women for other people bigger than him. I've heard some stories. Okay? Not now I'm telling you what I heard, not what I know. But they used to call him before he became Diddy, they used to call him do boy. Like he would run and get their women, get their liquor, get all of that stuff. And he quickly figured out that if he stayed quiet in the right rooms, he could get enough evidence on people to use it as leverage. I mean, a lot of these guys got demon resumes. They got something to answer for come the judgment. Let's just put it that way. You
And
can't
that's
don't
all
know.
I was saying. Again, I know people don't like nobody talking about their queen, but I wasn't saying that Jay-Z did anything nefarious to Beyonce. I'm talking about the fact that we're looking back in hindsight on that era. And there were a lot of rumors and there was a lot of stuff that was in our face, but we didn't see it in context. And what I'm saying now is we have a lot of rumors, and I know they are just that, they are rumors, but it was the same thing with Diddy. They were rumors. It was the same thing, blah, 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 blah. And now we're seeing things in a different context. And that's all I'm saying. I am not accusing Jay-Z of anything. I am just saying that Jay-Z is one of those people whose names have been floating around for years, that is connected to a lot of these stories, the same way Diddy was, the same way R. Kelly, the same way all of these people's names were connected to stuff. And that's all I'm saying. I am not saying Beyonce is being held against her will I'm not saying that. Okay? That's not
You
what I'm
got to
saying.
clarify for that beehive is some serious.
I know that's because people was already like, I thought
Ooh.
we was talking about, and then Beyonce was. I know y'all how y'all feel about y'all queen, but that actually just proves my point that I was making about how we got here. because we as a society, again, I'm not talking about me, I'm not talking about you or whatever. I'm saying as a society, we put these people on these pedestals. And because it's Beyonce and Jay-Z, now all of a sudden it's no, 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 no. When these same rumors have been floating around about Jay-Z. But because he's connected to Beyonce, now it's oh no, no, no. If Jay-Z was married to Sally Sally Blueberry, everybody be like, yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, I heard that too. But because it's Beyonce, now it's oh no, Jay-Z would never. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
Well, I mean, they talk about it in their song lyrics, don't they? I mean, if you listen to Me and My Girlfriend, Bonnie and Clyde '03, he talks about, I'm not going to take you where I take any other woman. I mean, he talks about how he had to beg her father, that he was serious, right? He mentions that several times in his music. I mean, they talk about their lives in their music and what they do. And they think it's funny. Like, has anyone ever seen Get Him to the Greek? Puff
Yeah,
Daddy played a character by the name of Sergio.
yeah,
And
I saw it.
that was very much that whole stroke the furry wall. Yeah, that was stuff Diddy did. It was just like how he motivated people. And people have been joking about it forever. In fact, there's a video circulating where they say, have you got any advice for young NBA players? And dude says, don't go to the take that house. Don't go to them parties. Stay away. Stay away from them parties.
Wow.
Hey Leo,
Someone,
what's up, boo? Yeah.
oh,
So, all right. So I'm gonna give you guys final words. Thank you guys. We've been here for an hour and a half. And again, this is just a conversation. I wanted us to just kind of go down the timeline. I don't think we were all familiar with all the things that Diddy has been connected with over the years, myself included. Because like I said, I didn't know nothing about the alleged J. Cole incident. Or Drake, actually. I knew about those other incidents. So I want to just kind of go down that. And then the conversation sort of evolved and morphed, for me at least, into just that whole era and people who were a part of that era. Um, and again, you can't talk about that era and leave out certain names. And yes, 50 Cent is no angel.
nope.
He likes to troll and he's been giving Diddy a really hard time. But let's be clear, 50 been dragging Diddy for years. This ain't new. And clearly he knows things or heard things. I can't say know things, but clearly he heard things because of some of the things he said and the way he would drag. But yes, I don't think any of these men are angels. And I'm not saying that all of them are as bad. I mean, there are layers to this. Well, I shouldn't say any. Any is a strong word. I think a lot of these men would make different decisions now that they made in their 20s, right? Or 30s.
I think
Um,
that,
Go
I was
ahead.
just
Go ahead.
saying, I think 50 Cent, a lot of his, it's coming from a place of homophobia, and I don't like that. I don't, homophobic people just kind of irk me. So
Okay.
it's the homophobia for me with 50 Cent, and he's made a lot of homophobic statements towards Diddy. I would love for him to just support women and just come out and say what Diddy did was wrong, but don't do it from a homophobic perspective, because I
Mhm,
respect
mhm.
everyone, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. Don't be homophobic. So that's what the problem I have with 50.
So shoot, I got a laundry list of problems with that man. But
I was going to say I
Well,
got a
on
lot.
this
I could go a
particular,
long
but I will
I
listen.
do too.
I will say this about 50 Cent. So when he first came out, he was like he went to a party and then he realized like, yeah, I never drink or smoke at all in this industry. So I want to know what he's seen at that party that lets you know that like, nah, never mind. And then if you actually listen to any interview he did, he was like, yeah, I don't drink or I don't smoke. Like I don't do any of that. And I was like, what happened at this party that you went to when you first got put on that caused you to say, I would never drink or smoke because of a party you went to? And I wonder if that party was a Diddy party. Is truly what I want to know,
Who was that that
because
said that again? I missed the beginning
50
part. Who said?
no, so 50 Cent said
Oh,
he
50 Cent.
doesn't
Okay.
drink or smoke. He said he went to one party, and after that he was like, I'll never drink or smoke at all. Like, not in this industry. And
Mm.
so I wonder if the party that he went to that was like, yeah, I won't, was a Diddy party. I wonder if that is kind of the what he's seen that was like, yeah, I won't do that because that just was too much. And then he has been dragging Diddy. Well, not ever since then, but there was a gap of time where they were fine. But then he started dragging Diddy for whatever else. So I wonder if that was the thing where that industry party was the thing where to be like, yeah, these aren't the people that I could lower my guard around. You know what I mean? Which I've wondered, because I was like, huh, that's interesting. Um, but I think that's the one thing about 50 Cent, that regardless of how I feel about him personally, like, he's been pretty, like, on the same keel since the beginning. Like, he was like, yeah, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do anything like that. And that's pretty much been his whole thing. So, which also let me know that everything you said out of a sober mind. You meant that with your whole chest. Oh, you're trash and terrible. So, that was my feeling on that one. But my thing now is, how many Trey Song allegations happened at a Diddy party? So we know that Diddy and his parties are absolutely debaucherously deplorable, and all the people in the Trey Songz things that happened at the Diddy parties was all saying that they were, you know, received this or received huge amounts of alcohol, or didn't realize that they were getting these drugs and this, that, and the third. So I'm like, clearly this is a pattern with you at these parties in your life, in your lifestyle. So nothing about that seems odd to me. Hmm. Okay. So I just feel like at this point, he did it. He definitely did it. Absolutely 1000%. Pay them people for their pain because you did it.
Oh wow. Okay. But I mean, somebody in the chat was saying about Dame Dash. Now I know that, Dame Dash is a lot of things. I know he can be very arrogant, he can be very rude, and a lot of things. But if you listen to Dame Dash, and I'm not saying that just because he said it that makes it true, but Dame Dash has been telling stories for years as well. And again, the only point that I'm making is we overlook things as a society. Again, not individually, but as a society, we overlook these things, maybe because sometimes it's the messenger and not the message. So because Dame Dash rubs people the wrong way, because he's rude, whatever, we discount what he says. And then when something happens and you come back around and you're like, wait a minute, well, Dame Dash said that 5 years ago. He said that 10 years ago. And I get it that him and Jay-Z were friends that fell out. But if you listen to what he's saying, again, I ain't saying everything that comes out his mouth is true, but I don't think everything he's saying is a lie either. And that's the only point that I was making to bring up that example. That's it. That was the only point I was making. And I mean, I see people in the chat say they understand what I was saying, so I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just one of those people that I'm like, okay, so now that we know, again, as a collective, now that we know, now we can look back on these things. They say hindsight is 2020 vision. That's all I'm saying now. So now we have hindsight with some of these situations. Do we have a different vision? Do we have a different perspective? And for some people, that might be a no, and that's okay. I mean, I'm not here to judge nobody. We're just here to have the conversation. So for some people, when you look back on stuff, you might say, well, I mean, I see it the same way. I mean, yeah, Diddy this and so this and so this, but I don't think this person had anything to do with it, or I don't think this person did anything. That's what makes the world go round. You know what I'm saying? Really be you're right. Dame is the wrong messenger, but doesn't mean right. That's just like with Aubrey, what's that? Aubrey O'Day, whatever the girl name is. people discounted her because we didn't like. When I say we again, I'm talking about me. I guess we didn't particularly care for her. But now we look at a lot of stuff she said about Diddy, and it's come to fruition. Same thing with 50 Cent. 50 Cent got a lot of shit with him. Let's be clear. I'm by no means absolving him from his shit. Okay, but he's been trolling Diddy for a long time. And like I said, that clip that he said that he had naked pictures of Cassie years ago. He didn't say where they came from. He didn't say who sent it to him. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm saying is that sometimes we overlook the message because we don't like the messenger, but that doesn't always mean that the message ain't accurate or has some validity to it. That's the only point I was making about that.
Do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. I was just that made me think.
Go
Do
ahead,
you
because
think
we're
that
about to wrap it up. We got to wrap it up in a few minutes, but go ahead, babe.
do you think he would have testified, 50, that he received the pictures from Diddy? Because that would have been very damning. Maybe that's why he sold really fast too with Cassie.
I mean, I think if he was asked, he would have, but I don't think they needed him. I don't. I think that Cassie had everything Cassie needed to prove her case. That's my opinion. I don't know that to
The
be a fact. I ain't talked to Cassie. I don't know her,
Mhm.
but
the
again, and I'm no attorney. I'm no attorney, but for me, when I hear certain things, I feel like for me, it translates in my head. Oh, they already got this covered. So when Cassie in her that 35-page filing, she talked about having pictures. She talked about specific events that were reported in the blogs. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like she had enough to support her allegations to that level. And the reality is, which this never would have seen the light of day in a courtroom, but had it gone to a courtroom, I think Cassie already had what she needed. I don't think they needed 50. Do I think that if they subpoenaed him, would he have shown up? Absolutely. With a
with
with a
bells
brass
on.
band. You know what I mean? He absolutely
what
would
what
have shown up.
what 50 actually said was he received the pictures of Cassie and he sent them to Diddy like, yo man, somebody sent me pictures of your girl. Cause when those pictures first leaked, they made it seem like Cassie was cheating on Diddy. It turns
Mm-hmm.
out that 50 got suspicious because when he hit Diddy up about the pictures, Diddy was like, yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, I know. And he wasn't phased by it at all. And he was like, dude, did you send me these? And he was like, nah, I ain't know nothing about it. You know, but it's one of those things where if you really pay attention, he has like a compulsive need to brag about some of the stuff he does. You know, because a lot of these guys don't feel touchable.
Did you
So
see the Vlad interview with
yeah,
Aaron
he-
Hall? He was bragging about how he was with these women and he was they watched him. It just seems like Aaron kind of because he was like the bit star and Diddy was like a intern or whatever. It's like he looked up to Aaron, and it seemed like all of them did because someone made the statement I saw that Aaron walked so R. Kelly could run. And it just seemed like the same way with Diddy. It's like a lot of this stems from Aaron Hall. Because they would watch him when he was with women. He would brag about his size and things like that. So I think a lot of that does stem from Aaron Hall.
well,
I just
I've heard on many occasions like you couldn't even agree to sleep with one dude. I've heard this many times. Like you may agree to sleep with one dude and three more may walk in on you.
Oh goodness.
And he pretty much admitted to that. So the girl who has the Aaron Hall case, Vlad is gonna lead them straight to hell. I'm gonna tell you this.
I don't know
Vlad,
why these people go to Vlad. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I have no idea why these people go to Vlad. But
Well,
let me
Hey,
tell you something. But let me tell you something. This is a totally different subject. But I was down to the tiki talkie and I saw it. Remember how when all this stuff happened with Cassie, we saw the interview with Young Jock talking about Cassie shaving her head. And
Right.
again, it gives you a different perspective now that you see it and you know these other things. He was talking about successful women being overshadowing their men. And he did, again, this is an old interview clip. He talked about Tiana Taylor. He used Tiana Taylor as an example. And he was like, you know, Iman, keep calling that man Imani. Iman, he was saying how basically he described what ended up happening, what Tiana alleged in the divorce paperwork, that he was jealous of her light shining. And even though he made more money, it didn't matter. She had the notoriety, and that bothered him. So again, we see you know, I mean, we could call Young Jock a lot of things, but it seemed like he got some insight when it comes to relationships, child. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think for me, and if I don't want to speak for the people on the panel, but I'm gonna say for me, I think at the end of the day, I think we could all agree that there's way more information out there that may never come out. Doesn't mean that everybody that tells a story is telling an accurate story, but I think we have more truths than lies. Now, that's my opinion. What do y'all think?
The dots are connecting for me, especially with Cassie's lawsuit and their third lawsuit. And then you look at the Vlad interview with Aaron Hall. It's connecting for me.
Mm-hmm. Tracy?
He did it. I told y'all that. He did it. All of it.
Allegedly.
Oh, fine. Okay. In my opinion, more likely than not, it sounds like something that he would do. It sounds right up his alley. It sounds like something he would be a part of. It sounds like something he would partake in and therefore enjoy. So, could I see it to be true? Does it sound believable to me? Abso-freaking-lutely. So I wouldn't be shocked if he decided to quietly settle these ones, not publicly settle them, the way Cassie's lawsuit kind of got like the public
Yeah.
settling.
Well, he did that so quick because again, I think in Diddy's heart of hearts, I think he never thought she would do it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I agree. I
I think he
1000%.
called her. I think he called her bluff, and he lost. I think that
Oh
he
yeah.
never in a million years thought that she would actually go public with anything. And when she did, he was like, "Oh." As far as the other two cases, I agree with you. I think he's going to let the publicity, let the news cycle die down, and probably like February, March, he may quietly cut him a check and it goes away. And then we're going to just hear about it, the cases being withdrawn or dropped or whatever the situation is. I agree with you. None of these cases make it to a courtroom. Well, not Diddy's cases. Um, Jamie Foxx is going to fight his case. If it sounds like he probably should. Um, but I don't think Diddy's cases make it to a courtroom. I don't think so.
Now I have a messy question. So, 50 Cent been dragging Diddy left, right, and sideways and everywhere in between. But doesn't Jimmy Iovine have one of these too? And that
Yeah.
was
Sure
like his
does.
guy, and he ain't said not man bit of nothing. 50,
And he's not
where?
going
Oh,
to.
okay, never mind. Like,
And he's not. Look, I'm going to tell you what I think, and this is just strictly my opinion and allegedly. I think somebody or a group of somebody's got on the phone and said, boy, if you don't make this go away and quickly, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think this is 10% of how grimy this could go if it all came out. I think this is, if this is allowed to run its course, this is on some Epstein, Weinstein level of a whole bunch of people being involved and named. Because if you just did a family tree of all the people who were together during certain periods of time and all the parties they went to. And somebody just did a real deep dive and connected all of those dots. It would paint a very, very unflattering picture for a lot of very, very powerful people. And Jimmy Iovine, Ivan, I can't remember how to pronounce his name, but yeah. Oh no, and you can't even Google that story. If you Google the name, the only thing that comes up is his Wikipedia page. You got to dig for that one. He is protected by dark forces on high. Yeah, and I think
Ooh. Who are you
Jimmy
talking about, Jane?
Jimmy Irvine.
Oh, okay.
I mean, all of them were involved with. They were involved with the same labels, the same acts. They went to the same parties. They
Makisha, everybody is getting that same heat. We talking about Jimmy Irvine. What's his name? Irvine right now. They
Jimmy
got a
Iovine.
case against Axl Rose. I mean, Andrew Cuomo. They can listen. This is
Trump has
equal
more cases
opportunity.
too.
Right. This is equal opportunity. It just seems like right now is a lot of black music execs. But again, that goes back to the question I asked the other day. Did Cassie's lawsuit spark this? Are more and more people coming out because they feel comfortable because Cassie sort of opened the door. But let's not act like that the other folk ain't getting it because they getting it.
Ooh, girl, when the
Now
Yeah,
I can't
California
Trump
go
one
all
lost
the
the
hit,
way with
5 million.
it.
Oh yeah.
Huh?
when the
Yeah.
I
California one
mean,
hit,
I'm sorry. Harvey Weinstein, hello. Harvey
Yep.
Weinstein was the most powerful man in Hollywood, and they got him. So we're not gonna sit here and act like the white folk ain't getting a piece because they got a piece. It just theirs was already kind of stumbled a little bit. And we ain't gonna act like the white folk didn't get none. Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, like we ain't about to sit here and act like none of them got it.
I read there was some new ones against Trump. He already lost one for 5 million.
Oh,
Then
child, I can't
Eugene,
keep up with
there's a,
Trump
a,
ass.
a $10 million one as well. And then from here, and there's another one. Then there's Russell Brand. There's several of them. And then was
Yeah,
it
it's a lot, but a lot of them you hear the headline and then they quietly settle. A lot of people. The one thing that I love about like Pam's channel is that we follow the cases. But a lot of people don't follow the cases. We hear the headline, we get excited about the headline, and then like we just said, they wait a couple of news cycles, and then those cases are quietly settled, and we honestly forget about them. So a lot of these cases come up, and we just don't know what happens on the back end because a lot of times we don't follow them. So again, over the last couple of years, it's been a whole lot of hits. It's just been they've been quietly resolved because let's not forget there's only one remedy in a civil case. There's only one remedy. And you either gonna get paid today or you're gonna get paid next week. Or you're gonna get paid next year. You know what I'm saying? But there's only one remedy, which is a monetary settlement. So
well,
oh,
there's a new, I mean, another law. This was the Adult Survivors Act, and it expired today. But there's another one, a gender-based law as well that I just found out about, and that doesn't expire until 2025. And so a lot of these lawsuits could still be brought under that one in New York. So they still need to be afraid and biting their nails until 2025 in New York. And then from what I'm hearing, California is passing a similar law as well. So it's about to get really interesting.
oh, California ends December 31st. So
Oh, it's gonna
let's
be
see how we're
good.
gonna bring in the new year.
And it doesn't Diddy live in California now? I believe he does. So if he didn't behave and change his behavior when he moved to California, then he's gonna have a problem there as well.
he didn't.
Libertina, no, we talked about that earlier today when we talked about that lawsuit. But yeah, the lyrics, yeah. I mean, if I was his attorney, I would just be like, read them lyrics. And
Yeah, if it
it's
works.
ironic because that's a song that I loved back in the day. I used to sing it and I never really paid attention to it in context. Honestly, I really didn't. But when
Which
you listen to the lyrics, when I was listening today to Pam read the lyrics, I was like, wow, that sounds really damn bad.
which song is that, sweetie?
Don't Be Afraid by Aaron Hall. He is
Oh,
literally describing taking a woman, locking her in a room, and her not, he was like, "Oh, you could cry, you could scream, like, like," and he's literally saying, "Don't be afraid." I mean, the lyrics are when you put it in a different context, the lyrics are haunting.
Well, that's what he's just R. Kelly pretty much modeled himself after Aaron Hall. I mean, he tell on himself in his music too. So it's just like the connection between the two, the similarities is amazing to
Hold
me.
on, y'all. I'll be right back.
all of
Remember when all the rappers tried to get lost past that you couldn't use their lyrics? I mean, that
Who
is a
passed
good
away?
point. No, it said, remember when all the rappers tried to get
Oh,
lost
they were
past and you
trying
couldn't use
to.
their lyrics? I
Yeah,
mean,
I think that's ridiculous.
what? You know what? And I think that one passed in California.
Well, they in Georgia they using those lyrics in YSL because the thing is there's a connection to the lyrics in real life events. They were it was some kind of shooting that took place in Lenox Mall. It was all in the news, and they rapped about it in the music, and they talked about how they were shooting certain people or whatever. They just it's a lot of
Hmm.
these events and a lot of these lyrics match up to real life events. So why shouldn't the prosecutors use it? I mean, it's evidence. They're stupid enough to tell on themselves. Just like some lady that wrote a book, she had killed her husband and she wrote a book. Of course they're going to use that. So why should their lyrics be off limits? I think it's ridiculous to pass a law like that. If they're stupid, then just like those Vlad interviews, they're going to go dig up that stuff. I mean, it's gold. So why should their lyrics be protected? I don't think it should.
Right. So the California, like their date ends December 31st, which basically just means so because there was a lot of music in California, but then there's movies and there's Hollywood. So it's like, oh, mm, this writers and actors strike ain't about to be the only problem we about to face.
Wait a
Cause
minute. Child. So wait a minute. Lashantra Stacks is asking me a question. Really be tell me if Cuba pled guilty in a criminal case, how can they go to civil court? It happened. I don't understand your question. You mean if he was found guilty of assaulting a woman and he pled guilty, you mean the woman suing him on a civil level? Again, that's two different things. You absolutely have the right to sue somebody in a civil case, especially if they pled guilty to doing it. It happens all the time. That's what they did with OJ. OJ was found not guilty of being responsible for the death of I was gonna say Nicole Kidman, of his ex-wife, I can't Nicole
Nicole
Brown,
Brown.
and Ron Goldman, right? So they sued him in civil court, and they because the burden isn't as high in civil court, and he was found guilty. But again, the only remedy in civil court is monetary, which is why he owed all that money to them. So that's but that's what I'm saying. So I mean that's what happens. You can absolutely sue somebody for civil in a civil case. You absolutely can.
And people have a right to be compensated for their damages, their pain and suffering. If someone killed a close family member, they're going to have some mental health issues. They may need to go to see therapists. They can be compensated for that. So that's totally separate from civil, where they're facing jail time. So it's definitely two separate things. You could demand to be compensated for your pain and suffering.
and can I say
Okay,
something?
so wait a minute. She said, but he didn't. Wait a minute, hold on. She said he didn't plead guilty. But again, and again, I'm no lawyer, so I'm just answering this to the best of my knowledge. So I'm no attorney. But again, whether he pled guilty or not, or was found guilty or not guilty, you I believe you have that right to file a civil case again, like you said, for damages, because uh, if you suffered those damages, you have a right to file a civil case. That is my understanding.
but that's
Well,
That's
like
my
I
no
am.
difference
Oh,
between that. But that's like no difference between you can get tried on federal charges and then get tried on state charges for the same for pieces of the same event, depending on where they fall in the law. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't. You can. So a great example of it is like, I don't know if like I've been following a lot, but it's Alex Murdaugh. He got federal, state, he got all types of, and he
Yeah,
has
he got
civil
all kinds
cases
of stuff
all
going
going
on.
at the
You
same
got a lot.
time for all the things that happened. So you can be tried. So double jeopardy only really applies in like criminal, and it's like the same thing again. Like, so like in this type of court, you can't be tried for the same thing again if you were found either not guilty or they dismissed it with prejudice or something like that. But so it has to kind of be like in that specific court it applies. Not, it doesn't apply for like all courts across the board. Because I was like, ooh, Alex, boy, you got some.
Excuse me.
Ooh.
Well, I am an attorney, and I would say really be your explanation was spot on. With as far as the civil and the criminal, that's two different things. I think Pam and I we were talking about that as well. You can have something that's a tort where you sue on, but it can also be a criminal case as well. So a lot of
Right.
those, match up. So your explanation was spot on. So
Thank you. See, look at me. I listen. Them
you
classes I
always
took
saying
down.
you're not a lawyer, but you're spot. A lot of what you said is spot on. It's like, yeah,
Well,
I
thank
agree
you.
with that.
But them classes down to Law and Order University help.
You
Okay.
should you should maybe consider going to law school now. It's never too late. I met a lady that was 60 years old at when I'm just saying when I was on my journey to go to law school, I met a lady that was 60 years old. So you say you're a teacher, aren't you?
Yes,
I know a
ma'am.
lady that's a teacher and a lawyer. She teaches science and she's a
Oh,
lawyer
I
as
have a
well.
friend. Yeah, I have a friend. I mean, she didn't pass the bar, but she graduated from law school.
Well, she didn't pass the bar until later. She didn't even take it, but she's really, yeah,
Yeah,
that's just a different thing. But
yeah.
yeah, it's just the student loans that I would recommend, but
I'm
you
gonna
can
tell you
swing with all.
something. Listen, let me say that I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to go back and get a doctorate. I really want a doctorate, but I don't want no more debt. So I'm really looking at finding a program or finding grants or something, or be at a position where I can just pay semester by semester. Because baby, after I got out of that student loan debt, I
Oh,
don't
you're done?
never go.
Oh,
Oh
that's
baby,
awesome.
I got my loans forgiven. And I
Oh, mine
don't
were
never
discharged too.
want to go back into that kind of debt ever again, baby.
I
Ever.
agree. Well, anyone that's having
So,
student loan issues needs to holler at me and follow my group because I have a lot of information on there about student loans. That's what I do. So, but
oh well, baby, hold
congratulations
on,
on
hold on,
that.
hold on. What's your information? We where can people? Okay,
It's
because we can wrap this up anyway. So let me say this. So anybody that has a student loan issue question, you have a family member, you have a cousin, uncle, brother, sister, husband, wife that has student loans, and they need information on how to get that taken care of. Where can they go to get information?
I
How
have
can
a
they contact
Facebook
you,
group.
Jeanette?
Janetta, oh, I have a Facebook
Okay.
group. Well, my group is called Working Through Bankruptcy and Credit Repair, and I put a lot of information in about student loans. But my Facebook page is Pleasant Legal Solutions. I can put that in the chat, but I have a lot of information in that group about student loans, the IDR account adjustment. And then the Biden administration has passed so much that really helps forgive loans, and they made it easier to do a disability discharges. So I'm really excited about that. It's adversarial
Okay.
proceedings due to bankruptcies. Is a lot of information out there. There's a lot. A lot of people don't know about it. So I can put that in the chat.
Okay, yeah. Because listen, I was trying to type while you were talking, but then you. All right. So the Facebook group is called Finding
It's working through credit repair and
Working
bank.
Through
Wait a minute.
Working
Working
Through
through bankruptcy and credit repair.
Working Through Bankruptcy
Really, I
and
already got it. I already hit the join button
thank you,
and I put it
thank
in
you.
the
Look,
chat.
thank you. Tracy, listen. That's why we love Tracy. So that is the Facebook group, and then you said your group is called Pleasant Legal Solutions. Oh, we lost Janetta. Oh shoot, we lost her. Yeah. Go to that Facebook group, and I'm gonna see if she comes back. I'll wait a few minutes because y'all see I'm fading. I'm over here yawning. It's been a long day. But
How's
child, I've
your
been live 3 times, and I have a lot of stuff going on family wise that I've been taking care of today, so I'm tired. But I'm gonna
how,
wait and see if she comes back or she puts the information in the chat. But Tracy did pull the Facebook group, so you see the link for the Facebook group. But I just didn't. But she said it, so you catch the replay.
Don't worry, I
She
got the
said,
other one too.
okay, Red Girl says she did say Pleasant Legal Solutions. Okay,
I
so
already got
Pleasant
it.
Legal.
That's the
Lord
second
Tracy.
one.
Tracy got it. So Tracy has both of the links. And if you're catching this in the replay, you guys, check the chat because Tracy has dropped both Facebook groups in the chat. But it's Pleasant Legal Solutions, and it is. Oh, here she is. She's back. Okay. All right.
Sorry about that.
Janetta.
Yes, I'm back.
Janetta, you
Okay,
there,
yeah,
boo?
it's working. Oh, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Okay. Janetta, you back?
Yes.
Okay, so we got both groups. We dropped both of the Facebook groups in the chat. So you guys, Janetta is here to help. Like I said, listen, the feeling that I got when I opened up that letter and I saw zero balance,
Oh my God. Yes.
listen, literally tears welled up in my eyes, and I called my mama just like a baby. I called my mama,
I
and I was
had
like, I was like, I
200,000.
need to show you something. I need you to see what I see because I needed to confirm that I wasn't reading it wrong. You know what I'm
I
saying?
had like $230,000. I was just like, I stared at it I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, this can't be
Yeah, I
real.
had a lot.
230. Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
good
I was over
feeling.
$100,000. It was over $100,000 for me, and I was like, "This is crazy." The
It
weight that I
really
just felt
is.
like was lifted, like the weight that was lifted off my shoulders, I can't even describe it. So you guys, see, look at that. Look at how we ended. We started off talking about Diddy, now we talking about how to get people out of debt. Please, you guys, again, even if you don't have any student loan debt, I promise you, you know somebody in your life that does. If you guys, I saw my niece in here. You need to go check it out, Niecy. If you guys please go check out um her group and reach out to her. And again, thank you so much. I want to thank the panel. Thank you guys for being up here, for sharing and saying, doing all of the things. I appreciate it. I'm getting ready to log this off because baby, we've been here for 2 hours. We have been here for 2 hours. And again, I'm not sure what my timeline is tomorrow, but I'll be here at some point tomorrow because I'm off this weekend. I have a lot of running around to do tomorrow too. I have a meeting first thing in the morning, and then I have some. You know what? I might not be here tomorrow, y'all, because I forgot I'm supposed to do something in the afternoon. So I'm not sure when I'm getting home tomorrow. Either way, y'all have a great Saturday, and I will talk to y'all later. Mwah.
Have a good night.
take care?
Thank you guys for coming up. You too.
Bye.
Tracy, once again, thank you, my love, for pulling that information and dropping it in the chat, girl. I don't know what I would do without you. Don't know what I would do without you.